Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and today I want to show you how to make the mixed cluster stitch. For this tutorial, I will be using paint box yarn, Simply Chunky, and a 6mm inline crochet hook from Susan Bates. So this is the front of the mixed cluster stitch, and I'm going to show you. This is the back of the mixed cluster stitch. You can choose which one is your front or your back according to your project. Let's go ahead and let's get started. So to begin, we're going to make a slip knot. The mixed cluster stitch is a multiple of 2 plus 1 plus 1. So for this tutorial, I will be chaining 22. So now I have 22 chains. So to begin row 1, make a single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So for this instance, I'm going to use the back ridge of that chain. And then make a single crochet into the next chain. Make a single crochet into the next chain and all the way across. So this is our first row of single crochet, and we should have 21 single crochet here. So to continue with the second row, chain 1 and then turn your work. Into the first stitch here, make a half double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now we've got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, skip the next stitch and insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. We have 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over again, insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now we have a total of 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull it through all the 6 loops on your hook. Make sure you pull it through all the way through. So this is our first mixed cluster stitch. To continue, chain 1. Make sure your stitch or your loops are within the gauge of your crochet hook. Now this chain 1 is not part of the mixed cluster stitch. This chain 1 is meant to compensate with the skipped stitch that we made, and here is the other one as well. Since we are at the beginning of the stitch, a chain 1 is not there. So to continue, I'm going to yarn over, insert your hook into the last stitch that you worked in, which is here, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now I've got 2 loops on my hook here, and then yarn over, insert your hook into the second stitch here, so we're going to skip this next stitch here, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Now again we have 6 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull it through all 6 loops. So this is our second mixed cluster stitch. To continue, chain 1. As remember, this is not part of the mixed cluster stitch. This is meant to compensate with the next stitch that we will be skipping. So to continue, we're going to do that again. So yarn over, insert your hook into the last stitch that you worked in, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So now I've got 2 loops on my hook, and then yarn over, skip that next stitch and insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and we'll do it once more. Yarn over, insert your hook, and then yarn over and pull up a loop until we have 6 loops on our hook. Now yarn over and pull it through all the 6 loops on the hook. So this is our third mixed cluster stitch. And then chain 1. Now let's take a look. As you can see here, this is 2 half double crochets, and there's a double crochet here. So technically the mixed cluster stitch is a 1 double crochet and 2 half double crochets together. And one of the differences as well is that the foot of the double crochet is at the previous half double crochet stitch here, and the head is on the next half double crochet cluster stitch. So to continue, we're going to do it all the way across. Now I will be making the last mixed cluster stitch. So as usual, here, so the last stitch should be at the very last, the last single crochet. So here, as I mentioned earlier, the chain 1 is to compensate with the stitch that we skipped each time we make the mixed cluster stitch. So this time we don't have a space to compensate, so we're not going to chain 1. So we're just going to make 1/2 double crochet straight into the same stitch. And this is true at the beginning as well. Remember, we have made 1/2 double crochet here at the beginning, so that half double crochet is the same. So this is actually the mixed cluster stitch. If you're going to count the stitches on the top, there should be 21 stitches as well. So to continue with row 3, chain 1, and remember this is not counted as a stitch, and make a single crochet into the first stitch. Each of the next stitch all the way across. So we should have 21 single crochet in this row. Into the last stitch here, make sure you take 2 loops of that single crochet. And to continue with row 4, chain 1, turn your work, and repeat row 2. So we're going to make 1/2 double crochet into the first stitch, and then we proceed with the mixed cluster stitch. So I'm going to make 3 more, and I want to show you what type of stitch the mixed cluster stitch is. Okay, I'm going to make one more time here. So as you can see, the mixed cluster stitch is a 2-row repeat, and the mixed cluster stitch is an aligned stitch. So when you say aligned stitch, is that each stitch from previous row are aligned with each other. As you can see, the cluster stitch is aligned with the previous cluster stitch, as well as the side where you are working with the mixed cluster stitch is the right side. So the side where you are working the single crochet is the wrong side, but you can choose which one you want to be at the front, because the back is nice as well. But this is the front of the mixed cluster stitch. So go ahead and continue until you make more rows, and I want to show you how it looks in a DK yarn. So this is a chunky yarn from Paintbox Yarn. So let me show you. So here it is. This is the mixed cluster stitch when you make them in a block. As you can see, the double crochet that crossed here keeps the pattern solid, so you haven't got a chain one space, although you have one. As you can see, you have a chain one space there, but the double crochet is compensating for the space, so it fills up that space between. So that is our work, and this is our finished in a chunky yarn. So this is the front and this is the back. So this is the mixed cluster stitch. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you again next time.